Today I want to talk about my experiences with social anxiety. Now, I know you're thinking, you look at me and you see me performing on stages and talking on camera confidently and competently, hopefully. What are you talking about social anxiety, Matt? You're like the, archetype of an extroverted person, right? And part of that is true, of course, but social anxiety and understanding social anxiety is also understanding that it's a spectrum, and it's something that I have had experiences with. I'm by no means in the severe end of the spectrum, but I think social anxiety is going to be something that we're all going to have to deal with. Hopefully not too many of us, but many of us are going to have to deal with coming out of lockdown now, because we've been locked in for many months now, only seeing a couple of friends or family members. We may have been more active on social channels and things like that, but still we haven't been around a crowd of people. Also, there's that social new dynamic with us about we've all been wearing masks, which also kind of creates this imaginary bubble around us of protection. And if masks start coming off, I've noticed that already when I was on public transport in a country where there was no masks required. Because I've been wearing masks for a year, I genuinely felt myself putting distance between myself and people subconsciously, something that I've never done before. I formerly fed off people. I really fed off the energy of people around me. And that's something I've always done when I'm on stages and in audiences. And the reason why I want to make this video and talk about this is because I was last week at a party for the first time in 6 months. It felt like a real party. We went to a kind of housewarming of a friend. And I was in this environment with, under 10 people around a kitchen, talking and having drinks. I was so conscious of how I was coming across that I was almost stopping myself from saying things because I was worried about how it would be perceived. And then I woke up the next day and I spent the entire day trying to play back the evening in my head, going, okay, did I come across, what could they have thought bad about me there or whatever? And, in hindsight, I spoke to a friend a few days later and she was like, that was such a wonderful evening. And she was in those conversations with me. She was like, mate, you came across like all of us. We were just having fun conversation. There was no weird things said or no one would think anything negative of you because of those things, right? But I spent an entire day, and I'm still thinking about it today, that setting was really uncomfortable for me. And I'm, meant to be one of the most socially capable people in my friendship communities. And if I'm starting to feel like that, I can't imagine what people who have suffered from social anxiety in a more severe end of the spectrum are dealing with right now. So I wanted to sort of summarize what the symptoms of social anxiety are. Reading off the NHS website, I'll link it below, symptoms and social anxiety. And I think there's an important thing to understand that it's a spectrum, right? So I'm definitely on the lower end of the spectrum. But social anxiety is more than shyness. Reading off NHS here, it's a fear that does not go away and affects everyday activities, self-confidence, relationships, and work, or even school life. Many people occasionally worry about social situations, right? We all do sometimes. You want to come across in the right way. You want to be the funniest person. You want to not say something stupid, whatever it is, right? You want to come across as intelligent. You want to have all the information. We all feel that. But someone with social anxiety, and this is a differentiator, feels worried before, during, and after them, right? So you're worried about going to meet a group of people in a park. You're worried about, when you're there saying the wrong or right thing. And then afterwards, of course, worrying about how you came across, right? So I'm definitely on the latter end of that spectrum. I worry about... I've recently started to discover that I worried about going to these social settings. And when I was in there, I was worried. And then afterwards, I was worried too. And that's new to me. That's why I think this is definitely affected by the fact we've been locked down. So, I just want to acknowledge that there are some subconscious and conscious effects of this lockdown, whether you know them or not already. And I think also, all of us having a bit of a better empathetic understanding that all of us going out into these social settings now, some of us are going to be better than others, but all of us having a common understanding. It's like we're being reborn into the world, right? Reborn into social settings. And obviously in severe cases, it's, trembling, feeling sick, actually having panic attacks on that end of the spectrum. Unfortunately for me, I've never had that level of it, but I've definitely had a lot of post-event anxiety. Recently, as I said, I've discovered event anxiety and a little bit of build-up beforehand. So that's why I think it's a really important thing for all of us to talk to and just have a common understanding that we're all going to be going through something at the moment. We all went through the lockdown and the COVID in our own ways. Some did better than others. And the same thing now. It's a whole new phase of reopening, right? So one of the key things in my little research today was that you should try to understand what your anxiety is triggered by and note down what are the scenarios that trigger the feelings for you, and what feelings do they trigger, right? So then you can better understand, okay, it's new people in an unfamiliar setting, or whatever the scenario is that actually triggers that anxiety. It's important to understand what triggers yours. To give you an example, for me, I've noticed now that what triggers my anxiety, especially post-anxiety after events, is new people in my normal setting. So I have to describe myself amongst people who know who I am and what I do to new people, and then worrying about how I'm describing myself, and then we have conversations and worrying about how I come across, and it's just a strange scenario for me, and I feel very uncomfortable, so I worry about it afterwards. So that's the trigger for me. And I want to share some basic solutions to try to overcome this anxiety. So I mentioned one already, which is taking notes and understanding what your anxiety is. One of the best ones is, of course, talking to people. Now, if you tell someone that you have these types of anxieties, I guarantee you will never receive a bad response. And hopefully you're speaking to a friend who takes the initiative to support you in this, right? So I think the more people you speak to, the better, because I think all of us are going to be going through some level of social anxiety coming out of lockdown, right? So you are no different to everyone else. Some people are more empathetic than others. Some people are better at helping friends than others. It doesn't mean that they're a better or worse friend. But everyone, bear that in mind as well. If you speak to friends that don't necessarily act as much as you would have liked them to do and to support you, be empathetic too, because I'll give you an example, a real example. I had a dear friend of mine who is a dear friend of mine to this day. And this friend was living with me, and this friend had really, really bad social anxiety, right? Something that I never expected of this person, because this person was charismatic, this person was seemingly confident, was good in social settings, had everything going for this person, right? And so when I first time walked into this person's room, my friend's room, I should stop saying this person, my friend's room. Sorry, I'm making it so complicated for myself. This is a real story. I walked into my friend's room, and my friend was, hands in, face, sitting on the side of their bed, just. They might have been crying, they might have just finished crying, but they were just visibly just completely distraught, right? And I didn't know how to react. So I simply, obviously I realized this person wanted some space, and so I said, hey, I'm here for you, but the person said to leave me alone. So I left them alone, and I didn't know how to respond. It was the first time I'd experienced this, 7 years ago. And all I did was I had like a steak in the fridge, and there was some wine there, and I wrote on a note saying, this is yours, don't worry about tonight, don't come out. Because I think I was waiting for that person to come with us when we went. We were going to leave to go out and have a night in the town. And that was hopefully I didn't react in the wrong way, but I didn't know how to react. Do I give them support? Do I cancel plans? What do I do? And then after that, what do I do, right? Fortunately, that person has overcome their problems since, and they're thriving today. And I'm super proud to know that person. But still, we haven't spoken too much about it, So that was my experience with a friend who's very close to me, who had serious, like on the really bad end of the spectrum, panic attacks, anxiety, and things like that. So yeah, if you know a good way to help a friend with social anxiety, let me know in the comments, like, what are the right things to do? Because back then I had no idea what to do. I don't think I reacted badly. I don't think I reacted as good as I could have in that scenario. So if you have some good advice about how to help a friend with social anxiety, let us know in the comments. Apart from talking to people, breathing exercises actually. Now this is something I've learned through meditation as well. Getting control of your breathing. I'm trying to be better at this as well in the day, because I feel like if I have a really busy day, especially when I'm doing these vlogs, it's a bit of a rush every morning to get one out by, mid to early afternoon. I can just get into, a focused kind of 2-3 hours where I feel like when I finish that, I realize that, I'm not even conscious of my breathing, and I feel like I've been breathing short, not breathing deep. Breathing deep is known to calm you down. And I had this amazing tip from this performance coach who told me this tip. And this is the tip, basically. Let me know in the comments if you have a better one. But it's basically you breathe in deep for, say, 4 seconds. So you go through the nose, hold it for 2 seconds, and then you breathe out for twice the amount of time as you breathed in. So 8 seconds, for example. And then you repeat that. Do it like 20 times, basically. It doesn't actually take that much time. People think it's like meditating for 20 minutes. No, it's literally taking you about five minutes or so. And I've noticed that really helps calming me down. It almost like resets me. It's literally 2 minutes, 5 minutes out of my day, and it resets the next hour and a half, 2 hours. So it helps me to kind of control my breathing again. I think breathing exercises are a great way to control social anxiety. Obviously, I will acknowledge the fact that, if you're in a social setting, sitting in a park in a circle, and you sort of sit out of the circle and do some breathing exercise, it's probably going to aggravate your social anxiety. So, I don't have the honest, greatest answer there, but let us know in the comments if you do. But I think just, getting control of your breathing under your breath while you're there is a good way to sort of control how you feel inside. And one of them, unfortunately, is just facing the fear. Actually just facing the fear front on, putting yourself into scenarios. Now, I thought of a way to do that that's maybe less daunting. If you have a friend, a friend of yours who's been supportive to you during the social anxiety issues you're having, let them know before you're going out, hey, so I just want to let you know I'm worried about today. And hopefully they will then be a support for you. So they can sort of be a constant sort of safety net for you. So for example, if you need to take a breath and get out of that scenario for a sec, you can do that with your friend in a comfortable way where it doesn't have to make a scene in front of everyone. You're just going to step outside for a second together. It's less than one. It's not just you leaving and then worrying about what everyone's thinking while you're gone. That friend comes with you to normalize that a little bit. Obviously starting small, baby steps, not going into massive parks with lots of people or, crowded locations, starting small with friends that friends that know you, then starting to introduce new people, knowing that it's okay to end that day's social interactions at any time that you want. That's totally fine. No one's going to judge you about that. And then that's the last one as well. No one's going to judge you. Negative thoughts. I really struggle with controlling my negative thoughts. So I've noticed my gratitude journals helping me a little bit in terms of my affirmations, my daily affirmations, basically saying like, I will control my anxiety. I write that in my journal all the time. Today I will control my breathing. Today I will control my anxiety. Today I will control how I feel about my work and what people and control what people think, basically. So yeah, look, there's a few things there about social anxiety. I really think it's an important thing for us to understand and have an empathy towards coming out of lockdown. I wish you all the best of luck. You are always so welcome to reach out to me. I'm by no means an expert, and if you are, please write some things, put some links down though that can help anyone who's watching this. Thank you so much for watching this episode. On Sundays, I like to just do an easy watching, easy listening vlog, nothing fancy, super low edits. So I'll just put this out in an hour or so. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, and good luck with coming out of lockdown. Take it slow.